meantime, check out what Nicole and Hannah just put in our office. It's kind of neat. I want to show you what they did here just today. These are, of course, our office peoples, and a bunch of photographs that Nicole had put together from our various events and such. So if you ever come to visit us in Charleston, South Carolina, one of the best travel destinations in the United States, you have to visit us in the office. See all these crazy pictures and folks that we work with. I enjoy working with them very much. Nice job, Nicole and Hannah. Our new office wall is complete. So there's our live office cam. Nicole will be out 10 seconds before she realizes that I can see her on there. Let's see if I can take it full screen. There's my lovely bride, the gift God gave me. All right, so we're going to get to some of these questions here, and there are about 20 from YouTube, a couple from Facebook, and a bunch that were in the comments on the different platforms. So we'll get into them live. I really don't have an agenda for today. Usually I can talk without much prompting, but today I'm just going to let you guys, everybody in the audience, see what we're doing and take it from there. So let's start with Cynthia says, if I wait to sign up for Part B until I lose my employer insurance, can I get supplemental plan in without underwriting? Yes, usually. So your Part B, you don't have to start if you are on an employer plan that's 20 lives or more, 20 employees or more. This is a law called ERISA, which is a long acronym that stands for some federal government program that just says that you're in a different category if your employer plan is more than 20 lives. Now, if you're under 65, if you're on Medicare due to disability, your employer size has to be over 100. It's weird. It's different. Things are all different under 65. But if you're over 65 and your employer plan is 20 employees or more, then your employer plan is considered creditable coverage. You're fine. You don't have to get the Medicare Part B if you don't want to. Also, your prescription drug plan should be a creditable plan. That means it is as good or better than Medicare's Part D plan. Another question that came in on one of the other comments that I just approved in one of the videos today said, why is it that my employer plan's drug plan is so much better than the Part D drug plans through Medicare? I don't know why that is. It's always been that way. For whatever reason, back when the second Bush administration, was it the first? Can't remember right this minute. They passed the Part D drug program, and when they did not give Medicare the ability to negotiate drug prices. And this is something that's been trying to be going on for the last 4 years. But as you can imagine, there's major headwinds against any administration trying to come up against the pharmaceutical lobby. Been very, very tough. So the pharmaceutical lobby has some kind of an incentive from the government to have the Part D program, but yet they can charge higher prices than they can in the employer program. It's nuts. But to answer your question, you do not have to get Part B if you're on large group insurance. So one of the things we always want to look at, how much are you paying for your premium, if anything? Do you have dependents that are dependent on that plan? If so, that's another reason to keep that plan. If not, and you're paying a high premium just to be on that employer plan, that's when you may want to consider what is the cost of Part B, what is the cost of a Medicare supplement plan, bearing in mind that as you're 65, 66, 67, those are the lowest price plans ever that you'll ever have. So the apples and oranges get kind of blurred when you're also considering such factors as what kind of network limitation do you have on employer plans? Let me just share something with you, what I'm going through and why I'm so jealous of the Medicare Part B deductible being $203 for 2021. Our plan currently, our family is on our group plan here. It's the best plan we could get. It's $1,800 a month in premium for my family, $1,800 a month with a $7,000 or $8,000, it just changed for this year, $7,000 or $8,000 deductible before they pay anything. And prescription drugs, pretty much not covered at all. So the Medicare program is fantastic. And remember, there is no limitation on networks of doctors. go to any network, or I'm sorry, any doctor or hospital as long as they accept original Medicare. That's as long as you accept just Medicare and or a Medicare supplement. So as you're comparing the monthly premium costs, the co-pays and so forth, the cost sharing on your employer plan, the premium that you're paying, and the limitations, then take a look at Medicare, where you've got Part B. Part A is already paid for by your work credits. Then you've got the drug plan, generally allocate about $20 a month for that, unless you've had 𝗰𝗹𝗋, real high income, and then of course they sock it to you. And then your Medicare Supplement, which will allow you to go to any doctor, any hospital. Does your company help with Affordable Care Act plans? No, we don't. We have a referral partner. If you go to seniorssavingsnetwork.org/under65. So that's seniorssavingsnetwork.org/under65. It takes you right to them, and they're in all the states. Let's see. And Kim, let me jump down to one from Cynthia. Cynthia says, will I be able to get Plan N without medical underwriting if I delay signing up for Part B until I lose employer coverage? Yes, you can, because your open enrollment period happens either when you're turning 65 if you've activated your parts of Medicare, or when you start Part B. So when you start Part B, boom, now you've got this open enrollment period. It lasts for 6 months for a Medicare supplement. On the Medicare Advantage side, it's a little tricky. It's 3 months after you lose your employer coverage. You have to have gotten your Medicare Advantage plan. Your Part D plan is 60 days. So all those can be kind of wonky, but you asked specifically about the Medicare supplement. And so yes, you have a 6-month period from the activation of your Part B until your open enrollment period for Medicare supplement expires. During that period, you can get absolutely any Medicare supplement plan without any evidence of insurability. And if you've had continuous coverage, that is no more than a 60-day break in continuous coverage from the time you left an employer plan and the time that you started on your Medicare supplement, there is no such thing as a pre-existing condition. They can't hold that against you. So let's see. Kurt says, how high will Plan F premiums eventually increase based on less and less patient pool? Well, that's kind of an actuarial question, and I'm not an actuary, but I can tell you that there are formulas that are starting to come clear based on what they're seeing right now. Now, we've only been 1 year into the part where Plan F cannot be sold. This all happened back in July of 2015. I did a video right when it happened. MACRA was passed, the law that says that as of January 1, 2020, there can be no Medicare supplement plan that takes away the ability for the supplement to pay all of your Part B costs. There has to be at least some skin in the game. I remember Joe Lieberman testifying before Congress after he was already out of the Senate and saying that studies that he had done in his research showed that people, when they have a Plan F and there's no deductible to pay, go to the doctor far more frequently than they absolutely necessarily have to go. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Actually, I have Joe Lieberman's clip in my video talking about MACRA in 2015. But as a result of that, no one new can come into that program that's newly eligible for Medicare after January 1, 2020. So that's kind of like a ship that's been taking on new people all the time right at the port. Imagine this ship, will you? All these new people coming onto the ship, all the young people, brand new to Medicare, coming onto that plan because it's so simple. Well, that ship has sailed, and now no new brand new people can come onto that plan. Now, it is true that if you're age 75, age 78, 89, and for some reason you want to switch to a Plan F, you are grandfathered in. Kind of fits this appropriately, doesn't it? You can always buy Plan F if you could buy Plan F before. But not too many people are just going out and saying, you know what, I want that plan that no new young people can purchase. At least if they've got any kind of wise counsel going into buying their Medicare plan in the beginning, they're not hearing that as advice that they should heed. Because once you're on a plan, for most intents and purposes in most states, if your health prevents you from changing plans, and it's not a real big process, but you do have to have health questions in most states in order to go from one plan to another or one company to another. If you're stuck on a plan, I would not want to see anyone stuck on the Plan F, given where it's going right now. If you missed it, I did a recent video with the Department of Insurance as an interview with the state of Colorado, and they were so concerned, the head of their SHIP program there that assists seniors on a daily basis. They see these premiums rising. They see what's happening in the industry. And the lady who runs that program was so concerned that she went to the Department of Insurance and actually got them to enact a regulation in the state of Colorado that says you have a 6-month grace period that ends June 1st, 2021. I covered it on my Colorado video, and also at a website that I made just for that purpose called planfhelp.com. Planfhelp.com for the people of Colorado, because her insight was that any time in the past that you've seen a closed risk pool, that is a risk pool of people like Plan F that happened like before on Plan J many years ago when Medicare modernization happened. When that happens, that plan set adrift then cannot take any new, younger, healthier people getting onto that plan. And we've seen those rates just go through the roof. It's kind of an actuarial principle. It just happens. And yet we still had 2 departments of insurance across the country tell us right when MACRA was enacted, don't go telling your clients that they should beware of Plan F. And I understand that they want to protect the public from agents who would otherwise take any opportunity to put fear, instill fear into people. I understand that, but as a matter of principle, it is actuarially sound advice to tell someone that you don't want to be on a plan that no one new and young can get into. So how high will it go was your question. I can't tell you specifically how high it'll go, but I can tell you I would not put my mom on that. And my wife says, best people, do I have to change my WellCare prescription plan if I move? 𝗰𝗹𝗹, that's a beautiful name, said. And if I do I have to pay another deductible? So the deductible matters only if you're going to change plans, change companies and so forth, because that's who you're satisfying with on the Part D side. On the Medicare side, on Part B, that follows you no matter what. And that's a big source of confusion. Like the big question we have is, if I'm on Plan G, Medicare Supplement, and I switch over to Plan N, do I have to pay the deductible for Medicare again? And the answer there is no, because that deductible is paid to Medicare. That's part of Part B of Medicare. So once you've satisfied the Medicare Part B deductible, you don't have to satisfy that deductible ever again that year. But when you move out of your service area, that's a good thing and a bad thing. Let me tell you why. We had a lady who was on a Medicare Advantage plan. She got cancer. She then discovered through her summary of benefits that utilizing the cancer benefit on her Medicare Advantage plan was going to get her right up to the maximum out of pocket. Now, many sales agents out there, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it's absolutely true. Many sales agents, when they're trying to push Medicare Advantage, they'll say, well, the good thing about Medicare Advantage is it has a maximum out of pocket. Now, contrast that to original Medicare, which has no limitation on the 20% that you have to pay on Part B. So that's half of the truth. But you're comparing apples and oranges there. See, the Medicare Advantage maximum out of pocket only protects you when you're going inside the network, you have prior authorization for the things that require it, you've obtained the referrals when they're necessary, and you go to the exact prescribed treatment plan that is approved by the health plan. So if you follow all their rules within their limitations and their restrictions, then yes, the maximum out of pocket applies to you. If, however, in this lady's case, her doctor oncologist wanted her to go to more cancer treatments than the health plan would allow, her 2 choices are, 1, file an appeal, and then another appeal possibly, and another appeal, and go to administrative law judge and go to another appeal. All the while, cancer is going through her body. That's one choice, right? So you can say no to the health plan. My doctor, who wants to give me the real advice, is saying that I need more than you're just authorizing. And this treatment is more than urgent. It's an emergency treatment. You got to get going now with aggressive kind of cancer. So her choice was, what do? Do I just do what the health plan says I'm going to do? Or do I go into bankruptcy to pay for it out of my pocket? Because here's a little trick. If you do treatment outside of what's authorized on a Medicare Advantage plan, and you don't get it approved through the appeals process, that is 100% on you. That's your choice. Your choice is not to, at that point, say, you know what, this has been real. This has been fun. I'm going to go back to original Medicare. Peace out. I'm out of here. Sorry, it's a 1-year contract. And you can't do that. Here's the creative thing that this person chose to do, however. And this is where the value is in this question about moving out of your service area. And I'm just telling you what the law is here. This is the law. I'm not telling anybody to break the law or bend the rules or do anything crazy. I'm just telling you this is what the law is. If you are on a Medicare Advantage plan, Part D is the same way. The Part D is right within the Medicare Advantage plan world. All the same rules apply. If you are in a Medicare Advantage plan that is specific to your county and your region and your zip code, and you move out of that plan area, you move to another state, maybe you move in with relatives to help you get through your cancer treatment or to get through whatever course of things you have going on there. And I'm reminded from time to time that this is still America and you can still move whenever you want to move, right? So if you move out of the service area, what happens is you get a special election period. And here's what can happen during that special election period. You can either, one, go back to original Medicare. Okay. And now you're not beholden to the HMO to tell you where and when and how and all that stuff you can get treatment. But not only that, when you get a special election period for moving out of the service area, this is covered in the good old Medicare and You guidebook. You can look this up. Moving out of this service area triggers a special election period that allows you to get original Medicare and a Medicare Supplement plan, otherwise known as Medigap. Same thing. To fill in holes of Medicare, you can get the guarantee issue version of a Medicare Supplement plan. Now, you can't get Plan N. That's reserved for people who are brand new to Medicare or the healthy people that qualify later. So you can't get the cheap, least expensive Plan N, but you can get Plan G if you were eligible for Medicare on or after January 1, 2020. Plan G is your go-to guarantee issue plan, or before, if you were eligible for Medicare before January 1, 2020, then forever and always, Plan F is the guarantee issue de facto plan for you. So again, back to the question, what happens if you move outside the service area? You can start all over again. You can either choose a Medicare Advantage plan that's new in the service area in which you move, or you can go back to original Medicare and choose to, at that moment, get a Medicare Supplement plan that's guarantee issue. Let me share with you what happened with this lady. So she's on Medicare Advantage. She finds out the limitations that are involved in most all Medicare Advantage plans when it comes to treating cancer, especially aggressively. She finds out the limitations. She knows that it would take her, at this moment, the maximum out of pocket for her plan was $6,700. So she could either hit the $6,700 max out of pocket, and then if that rolled into the next year, hit that $6,700 max out of pocket again as she's going through the treatments. Only the ones that they prescribe are the ones paid for. Or she could move out of the service area, move in with a relative outside the service area, get on original Medicare, get a Medicare Supplement plan, also triggers a special election period to get a Part D plan, a drug plan, specific now to the needs of things that she's going to need, like anti-rejection medication, the oral chemotherapy drugs, and things that are very expensive if you're on the wrong Part D plan. See, moving outside the service area on Medicare Advantage or Part D, when you can look at all this again, now through the lens of what you're actively treating it for, now you get a reset button, and you can go all the way back to the beginning and pick the best plan that's right for you based on your new area. And like I said, it's America. So if you wanted to move back into an area or move out or move back and move out, whatever you want to do, whenever you do that, the consequence is it gives you another special election period so you can get off of those plans if you find out that the plan is not best for you and you're going to be moving anyway. Now, the law says you can do it before you move, as you're moving, or up to 60 days after you move. Those are the periods in time in which you can trigger this special election period based on the fact that you're moving out of the service area. That's a long answer, but I wanted to be thorough. And there are certain cases when you want to strategically consider that. Let's see. Thomas said, did you say that you can only apply for Medigap plans during the 6 months that you become eligible for Part B? No, absolutely not. What I said was, if you apply for your Medicare Supplement plan within the 6 months of your Part B being active, that is your open enrollment period. Now, Medicare has kind of screwed up the term open enrollment period to mean a vast variety of different things. So let me use what their technical term is based on their IED codes or whatever you call it. It's your initial coverage election period, or your initial election period, depending on if it happened when you were 65 or you started Part B as you left the employer plan. All that gobbledygook means this. No health questions. Pick any plan available in the whole market, including Plan N, which is great. You can do all that within 6 months. What happens after the 6 months? You can still choose those things, but you have to go through health questions. That's it. In certain states, like the state of New York, you don't have to go through health questions. But in most states, you do. And the health questions are not very onerous. They're basically, have you had a heart attack, stroke, or cancer in the last 3 years? Do you have diabetes? If so, are you using insulin for it? Do you have COPD, emphysema, chronic problems that require a nebulizer or oxygen? Height and weight is sometimes a factor depending on the company. And that's why it's so critically important. And I heard Christine in our office saying this today to a client as I walked by her desk. Let's see if we can see him in there. She literally said, it depends on what issue you have as to whether or not it's a concern. So certain people have certain heart ailments that would be a major concern if you went with carrier A. But if you went with carrier B, it's not so much a concern. And there may be a variation in the premium by $2 or $5 or $10 a month, but one company can get you approved and one company cannot. So many times, and I train thousands of agents across the country. That's part of my other business that I have. And I hear all the time from agents who say, look, my primary business is only turning 65 people. I don't know how to do underwriting. And so I think that they're leaving out the vast majority of 54 million plus people who are on a Medicare plan and suddenly figure out, oh my gosh, due to rate increases or something else, this is not the plan that I want to be on. And if they find out it's not the plan they want to be on, what are you going to do as the agent? You need to know how to move somebody from where they are to something that's better for them. And that's something we do all day. As a matter of fact, we start our agents in our office on the underwriting, the whole program of learning how to get a case underwritten, handling our existing clients, because we don't just write them once and forget about them. We check in with them every year. If there's a potential rate increase, we want to step back again and say, look, let's look at the market. Let's see what the market's doing right now. If the market has something to offer that's the same plan, same benefits, same everything that you have right now, but a lower premium, there's no interruption in coverage whatsoever. There's no waiting period. There's no pre-existing condition. Nothing changes. It's very seamless, except that we can reset your premium down. And I love it how this guy I keep following online, his name is Andrew with Nomad Capitalist. He always is talking about you can move to other countries, and he always says, go where you're treated best. And I love that for agents and for clients. Go where you're treated best. And if your agent has literally disappeared off the face of the earth since you turned 65, it may be a clue that you possibly need to go somewhere else where we can shop the plan for you and reset your high rate to put you on a plan that's better for you. And you should at least do that every 2 to 3 years. Otherwise, your rates are just going to go out of control. Just like the cable bill, just like the phone company, if you don't keep them accountable by changing, then you're just going to pay too much. You're going to pay way more than your neighbor would. Let's see. Excuse me here, it's live. Debbie said, my husband is on a Medicare Advantage plan now for 3 years and wants to know, can he switch to original Medicare and a supplement without any problems? Without any problems, I can't tell you unless we talk to him. The time to move off of a Medicare Advantage plan is quickly coming to an end. And why do I say that? Medicare's disenrollment period that they're now calling again with the nomenclature here, it's just so goofy with Medicare. The open enrollment period, okay, that's their term, not mine, that ends on March 31st. So here we are as we do this live stream. We're on Monday, March 29th, 2021. If you wanted to go back to original Medicare, you can do it. The mechanism to trigger that is either call Medicare and say, get me off this plan, or go sign up for a Part D drug plan. You can sign up for a drug plan on your own using the special election period code that you need, saying that you're doing this during the open enrollment period. However, if you do that, it'll drop you smack dab into original Medicare with no backstop, no Medigap Plan, no Medicare Supplement. So that's why I say it's pretty much out of time, because you would have to have an underwriting decision before deciding on your part whether or not to pull that ejection seat and get out of the Medicare Advantage plan. So early January, we started telling our clients, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan now and you don't want to be on that plan, you need to look at your benefits, look at what happened every year, because this is what the problem is every year, September to October, they will send you your annual notice of change. See, Medigap plans, Medicare supplements don't change. Plan G, Plan G. Plan N, Plan N. It never gonna change. However, Medicare Advantage plans change each and every single year. That's why they're required by law to send you the ANOC letter, Annual Notice of Change. It just so happens to drop in your lap along with 500 other pieces of mail from every other insurance company known to man that wants you to become their client now. So very often these things get lost. Worse still are the clients who said, yeah, just send me everything by email. Just coordinate everything by email. So they don't even have the opportunity to lay eyes on it. That may go to spam or not get there at all. So the problem is, around the beginning of January, two things happen. One, they go to the doctor, find out their doctor's no longer in their plan, or their network is no longer having the hospital that they wanted to go to. And now suddenly reality sets in. This is not the same plan that I had last year. No, it's not. They change quite significantly from year to year. Your benefits, your doctors, your networks, the rules can all change on Medicare Advantage. So now they go out to the marketplace and say, what am I going to do to get out of this plan? And so that's why we communicate with our people. Look, if you're on a plan you don't like, this is the good time to do it. But you need to do it when there's ample time to get approved through underwriting, when underwriting is necessary to go to another plan. Now, as we're getting really, really late and we're backed up against the clock here, if you can't get underwriting approval to get off of that plan, and again, the step is, one, apply for a Medicare Supplement plan to start April 1. If you get approval on that plan, on the Medicare Supplement plan, then pull the trigger, then get out of the Medicare Advantage plan. And again, you do that by signing up for a drug plan. The other thing you can do is you can sign up for another Medicare Advantage plan, maybe one that's more appropriate, maybe one that has your doctor in it. And I would not just rely on an online network. I would literally call the doctor's office and see, are you on this Medicare Advantage plans network? Because there was a study a couple years ago that said that up to 50% of the networks that were online, the doctor networks on the Medicare Advantage plans, were completely wrong. So call the doctor's office and make sure you can switch that plan. You have to do it before midnight, March 31st, and then whatever you select will go on April 1st, the first of the next month. So it's running out of time if you want to get off that plan. I'm in California. Do I need to change plans? I'm on Original Medicare and Medi-Cal 69. Medi-Cal is the Medicaid version in California. So QMB is the full Medicaid there. So you have an opportunity every quarter now. It used to be every month. Every quarter except for the fourth quarter, you can change your Medicare Advantage plan that handles your both Medicare and Medicaid. Most people don't have that option of having Medicaid, Medicare, and a Medicare Advantage plan. So you can change that every quarter, and the options are all yours. For other people in California, here's an interesting thing I want to share with you. Let me share the screen over here. I'm going to share this screen. One moment of time. I made a website to help people in California, and it's called CaliforniaBirthdayRule.com. CaliforniaBirthdayRule.com. California has some interesting laws when it comes to Medicare Supplement. Not talking about Medicare Advantage, but on Medicare Supplements in California, every year around your birthday, that's before your birthday and a month after your birthday, you can change your Medicare Supplement plan without any underwriting. There are a few states with rules like this, but California is just one of them, and they were the first. And what that means is if you want to go to the similar plan, which is like to like, for instance, if you want to go on Plan F, you can go to another company's Plan F and save money. If you're on a Plan G, you can go to another carrier's Plan G and save money. This is explained here on CaliforniaBirthdayRule.com. We can help with this process. You can go to the same plan or a lesser plan, no problem at all. The challenge is the plans in California are a little bit different than everywhere else. So whereby we normally say that if you're healthy enough and you can afford it, Plan in Medicare Supplement is a really, really good value everywhere else in the country. California, because of this unique situation with the birthday rule, these insurance companies are fighting even tighter. The margins are closer. So they're trying their best, their level best, not to raise rates on Plan F and Plan G, because they know in a heartbeat on the next birthday, in fact, the person can go over to Plan N and they've lost them. So you may not necessarily need a plan in if you're in California. You may be on the right plan, just the wrong company. And the nice thing about the birthday rule, again, it's before your birthday, on your birthday, and after your birthday. You can switch companies with no underwriting whatsoever, which makes it very simple. The sign of a pen and you're done, and your rate can be reduced. And our office is an expert on that. So you can go to californiabirthdayrule.com and get more information on that. And I just saw one that scrolled by. I'm going to pull this one up. My mom is on traditional Medicare and Plan F. She pays $185 a month premium for Plan F because she has a lot of medical needs since she is on dialysis. Well, two things here. 𝗰𝗹𝗹𝗶, I love that name. There's not a question in here, but I will say that $185 for Plan F is wonderful. I don't know what state she's on, if you want to add that into a follow-up comment, but $185 is a very cheap premium for Plan F. You're saying that that's her premium because she has a lot of medical needs. The premium on your Medicare supplement is in no way related to how much you've used it. It's related to the loss ratio in that particular state. This is one of the reasons why we don't like to contract with or sell to our clients companies that are only limited to one state, or companies that are very regional. There's a couple in Tennessee, Arkansas. These are single state or maybe two state entities where they don't have the law of large numbers backing them up. They don't have a nationwide group of people like an Aetna, Mutual of Omaha, Cigna, Blue Cross, all the ones that we represent, where they can spread the risk across to different states. So if they're in one particular state with a company and they suffer major losses in that state, for instance, then the rates are going to shoot up. There are a couple of states that have unusually low premiums just to start off with. An example is Virginia, for instance. You can start on a plan in Virginia for like $60 a month at age 65, and they don't go up very much. So that's a great state for Medicare Supplement. Meanwhile, in the state of Florida, 4 times that much is where you start, even as a 65-year-old. So it varies greatly depending on the state, but it does not depend on your individual health and what you've gone through and your claims that you've been through. That doesn't mean that whatsoever. So I'm glad she's on her plan. She can't change anyway based on what you just described with the health. I'm thankful that it's only $185, and I'm thankful she's got that. I would leave that alone, and I would keep her right there because she's on a good plan. And when someone's on a good plan and you ask us about it, we're going to tell you they're on a good plan. Don't change it. It just doesn't hurt to get a second opinion. And that's what I'm always advocating in our videos. You know, I was just looking at our YouTube channel, and I'll bring this up, and I don't want to bore you with it, but it's very interesting. I was looking in the analytics of our channel and how many people we've been able to help over the years. And it literally, we've got 2 different channels. One is for training insurance agents. We have 3,600 members on our website for insurance agents around the country, but for actually for clients. And as of the last view here, let's see if I can pull it up for you. And this is just neat because I feel like the people that we respond to and answer questions to all the time, they're like family to us. And it's just really fun helping everyone. And so the lifetime of our channel here, I'll show you. Audience. All right, now we're up to almost 30,000 in viewers, but where is the total views? All right, I gotta find it. Oh, it's updating. All right, I'll get back to that, but I wanted to show you it was somewhere around 3.6 million views that we'd had on the channel over time, and that just blows my mind. It's really neat. So, all right, and the next question is, I'm on Medicare due to disability at age 57. Can I get a drug plan and Medigap? That all depends. Many of these questions, it depends. And why is that? It depends on where you are. The only state that you can get full-blown Medicare supplement, where the state mandates that the insurance company cannot raise rates on you based on your age, they cannot discriminate on you in any way based on your age, is Pennsylvania. Other states like Texas, for instance, you can get Medicare Supplement Plan A. It's really not worth much to do so. In other states, you can get a Medicare supplement, but they can charge you the same rate as if you're 99 years old. Well, what good does that do? So it doesn't do you any good if one, they're charging you as if you're 100 years old, or two, you can't get a Medicare supplement at all. So the best advice is to go to a website that we made for this purpose. It's called MedicareOnDisability.com. MedicareOnDisability.com. And if you go there, you'll see which states we can sell Medicare supplements in. Now, the other challenge when you're on disability, Social Security, now you're on Medicare, is when you're outside of that open enrollment window, your initial coverage election period. Sometimes it's difficult, even in a state where you can get a good Medicare supplement, to qualify for one. Because if you don't get it when you're first eligible and then you're outside that period, you may never be able to get one. My friend Bobby, Susan, Sylvia, all my friends in the industry constantly harp on this. There should be a law, and it's absolutely true. There should be a law that says if you go to a Medicare Advantage plan, when you're first eligible for Medicare, you understand that you may never be able to upgrade to a Medicare supplement again in your life, depending on your health. Your only option to get on a Medicare supplement plan, guaranteed for most all states, is during your initial coverage election period. After that, if you went on Medicare Advantage, 2 years from now, you say, or 3 years from now, like the lady was just saying, I want to go back to a Medicare supplement, it depends on your health. The sad part is, as with insurance, people who have no homeowners insurance and suddenly come home and their house is on fire, they say, oh my gosh, I want insurance for my home. They call up the agent, my house is on fire, can I get insurance? The agent says, that's funny, but no, that's not how insurance works. Insurance, unfortunately, has to be in place before you need it. Same thing as with Medicare supplement plans. Outside of your initial coverage election period, unless you're in a state that has other laws, you can't get it if then you're sick later. So if you start off with a Medicare supplement, Plan G, Plan N, whatever, and then later on you decide, you know what, I don't need this, I'm never going to use it, I'm going to be 100 years old and never have anything major go on, I can play by the rules of Medicare Advantage. Then every year you can get into Medicare Advantage. They'll take you all the time. Any year you want, you can get a Medicare Advantage. The opposite is not true coming into Medicare Supplement. And there's just no one out there saying that is the case. And that's a very sad state of affairs. So go to, if you can, MedicareOnDisability.com. I've got a map there, shows the states and shows what you can do. You can get on Medicare Advantage either during your initial period or during the annual election period. And if you're 57 years old, having a Medicare Advantage plan is a lot better than having nothing at all. And to be honest with you, that's more than a normal person would be entitled to, given the American, the Affordable Care Act. All right, Affordable Care Act. Let's follow up my original question, part Brady of living in North Carolina and moving to Kentucky. Okay, good. Yeah, Kentucky is a great state to move to. Now, your Medicare supplement plan is not the same thing, as Esmeralda, as we were talking about with a Medicare Advantage plan. So you're talking about your Part D. That's going to trigger special election for you and go get a new Part D plan. And again, if your needs have changed since the old period, annual election period, where you got your Part D plan, now's your chance to change it. Get a better plan, get a worse plan, whatever you want to. SilverScript is a really good Part D drug plan. We have a lot of people happy with them this year. So chances are you can go right into your new place, find your own SilverScript plan again, sign up for it again. Once you notify Medicare and Social Security and your plan that you've changed, they'll be sending you a letter that says you're outside the coverage area. Now you need to make a choice. What are you going to do? And you need to make that choice soon. Otherwise, you're going to be outside of their protection on Part D. You'll start to accumulate the penalty for all the months that you didn't have Part D, because they're going to be done with you after you move out the service area. So one way or another, you need to get another plan, and preferably sooner rather than later. Let's see. Medicare questionnaire for drug plan. I'm trying to fill out. One sec. Let's see. Am I to fill out now or wait for Medicare to send me the letter to go online to fill out, ask to talk to your agent about? I don't know what that means. I'm not sure if you're talking about the scope of appointment form, which is just a permission slip that the agents need in order to talk to you about Medicare. That may be what you're talking about there. As long as you've done one of those in the entire year, you're going to be fine. And I'm told that something's wrong with the sound. Let me turn up and see. How often can a company raise your Medicare? No, that's a good question. So, Karen, there's not a law that says that you only have one rate increase per year. There's not, unfortunately. I wish there were. there was one company in the market, I'm not going to say their name, but they were the first ones in Medicare Supplement. I'm not going to say their name still. This company was going around raising rates on people anytime they wanted to, basically on the birthday, when the person moved into a new age bracket, and on their renewal time. So basically they get 2 rate increases per year. We were on a company trip with these folks, and all the agents shouted out and said, this is really hurting us because clients are not very happy with this. And they went back and changed it, much to their credit. Most companies will not raise the rates on you as a pinky swear, Scout's honor, during the first 12 months of being on that plan. It's not written in law, but it's their internal policy. So you have a 12-month rate guarantee. Beyond that, by law, there is no guarantee. Most carriers that we deal with and choose to deal with, and we pick our carriers very carefully, we don't want to have people calling us and saying 3 and 4 times a year they're getting rate increases. So the carriers that we represent, except for one that we haven't been selling for years now, they only raise the rates 1 time per year, and that's on the policy anniversary. And that's why we strategically reach out to our people on the policy anniversary to let them know now's the time. Let's take a look at this and let's see if it's something we can change or not. So that's the answer. It's not in the law. The Unaffordable Cares Act. I like that. All right, I'm going to go and pull up a couple of things here. Hopefully the audio is working just okay. I'm going to share with you a couple of things behind the scenes here, if that's okay. First, I want to check in with the camera in there and see if Nicole's behaving herself. She hasn't heard me yet. This live stream thing is kind of neat. All right, I'm going to go and share this screen. Let's see, here we go, coming up. So now we've crossed over into 3.8 million people that have seen our stuff. Oh, you can't see it yet. Come on. There we go. 3.8 million. I'm just so thankful for the people who've reached out and let us be a part of their lives on their Medicare journey. It's a lot of fun. So these are a couple of comments that people have shared with us. This is a couple weeks ago. I just took a screenshot of it on my phone as we're out and about. And this person, Kate, said, as an RN, registered nurse, your presentation should be the gold standard and required viewing for every Medicare recipient. Excellent cadence. Well, I don't know if that's true now that I'm talking live. In layman's terms, with complete, in-depth complete. And another RN then commented back and said, this is recently, I'm a retired RN now on Medicare. There's absolutely no freaking way I would ever go on a Medicare Advantage plan. There's not one person I know that loves that plan. Oh, wow. I don't know if Thomas is one of our clients from based on looking at this comment right here. We've got a lot of names that look very similar, but he said, I've been on Plan N for 11 years and I wholeheartedly agree with you. My wife and I go twice yearly for primary and follow-up visits. I'm retired from orthopedic practice as a medical biller. Wow. That's some pretty good inside information right there, I would have to say. Let's see if I can switch this a little bit. Nope, got to make it bigger. I've dealt with several Medicare Advantage plans. Based on my experience, I knew that I never wanted to be directed to specific physicians' facilities by a healthcare organization. I want to choose my physicians and facilities. Additionally, my experience is that those on health organizations do not care about their enrollees. Give me regular Medicare and a supplement with no network. It's worked great for me. Thanks for the information. You enlightened me for sure. Let's see. This is the best explanation I've heard anywhere. I was thinking last enrollment period to get an Advantage plan, get off original Medicare. Glad I didn't. You made the information easy to understand because researching this info on your own is near impossible. Wow, that's just really nice. My Plan N premium did not go up in 2021 over 2020, even though I was diagnosed and had treatment for colorectal cancer. God bless you. I'm glad you're surviving that and going to be a conqueror of that whole thing. The hospital bill for surgery alone was $57,000, but all was covered except for the $198 deductible. That was the Part B deductible for last year for 2020. Listen to this guy he's talking about. That's great. Thank you, Bob. I would have been bankrupt already had I chosen another. Wow. My honesty, your team, I appreciate that. And then we had some rate increase examples from the last couple of years on what I was talking about. of Plan F going up, Plan G going up, and Plan N sitting pretty stable there, I'd have to say. Same thing, same thing, same thing. All right, let's get back to some live questions here. There's Nicole in there. I see you. All right. So let's see. If a person had Advantage plan premiums to the same company for 20 years while healthy and then became ill at the age of 85 and wants to change Advantage plans, are there restrictions in a scenario? Well, there have not been any Advantage plans that have been the same, Rich, for the last 20 years. They're different every single year. But assuming this scenario were possible, every year you can change Medicare Advantage plans anytime you want to during the annual election period. How that works is October 15th through December 7th, you make a choice. At the end of that period, whatever you have selected becomes in effect on January 1 of the next year. It's very important to not watch the TV commercials with these city slicker, slick talking, paid endorsement spokesmodel people that tell you, get the benefits you deserve. Because in every case, I can tell you, and in this case, I know the person who runs that call center and the service that you're going to get after the fact. I know agents that I work with who called into those phone numbers with their parent as their, benefactor, helping that person as their agent. And just everything is 100% funneled into one outcome, one possible outcome. And that's getting to be that way with most of the call centers out there. Anyway, don't buy from a commercial. That's all I can tell you. You really need to get the help of an agent that specializes in Medicare and not one that's, being paid hundreds of millions of dollars on the television to push people into one only type of plan. Teresa said, I didn't know the difference between Advantage and supplement plans until I met you. My union signed us up for the Advantage plan. Does that make a difference if I want to change? No, it doesn't. And you bring up a really good point. Years ago, I covered how Aon had taken over the retiree benefits for AT&T. And then they went on to take on retiree benefits for other companies and other companies and other companies. And when they first started doing this, it was kind of nice. They were an independent brokerage, right? And the companies like AT&T said, we can no longer have defined benefit plans. That is a pension and free health care for the rest of your life. Can't afford it anymore. Going to go bankrupt. So we'll give you a defined contribution plan. We'll put this much money towards your health insurance if you go to our selected broker. Now imagine how that relationship works behind the scenes. But they said, if you go to this particular broker and buy from them, then we'll give you this much money to go to them. Since then, even with them, we've seen the erosion. It started off as an employer benefit plan that was great, everything covered, then to a Medicare supplement plan that they helped pay for, now to a Medicare Advantage plan with the restrictions and limitations on it. And what do you think the next step's going to be? Well, I can tell you that somebody gets compensated when somebody comes off of original Medicare and goes on to Medicare Advantage. Somebody's making some money there. And in my case, it'd be almost $600 to take somebody off of Medicare Advantage, off of Medicare, put them on Medicare Advantage as a first-time person. So there's a transaction compensating somebody to do that. And no, it doesn't make a hill of beans difference. All the prescribed rights and remedies that are yours to get off of a Medicare Advantage plan and select your own plan, those are legitimately yours still, regardless of the fact that the union said, hey, this is our best plan. You should go with this plan. That really doesn't hold any clout with me anymore of them saying, this is our big benefit that we're helping you out with by pushing you toward this plan. Really? Well, what's the cost of that? In many cases, as you know, the premium paid on those are zero. So if they're going to help you now get into a zero premium plan, whereas before they were contributing towards your Medicare supplement, which direction is that going in? That doesn't take a rocket brain surgeon to figure that out. Rocket surgeon? Peggy, I love your comments. I just have to call you out. You are the biggest source of encouragement sometimes in my entire day. Thank you so much for coming on to our news feed when I put a video out there. You are a blessing to our people. And I love sharing your comments with our crew. So thank you so much. Let's see. Kurt said, ditto for me. As a recovering retired druggist, no way would I ever recommend an Advantage plan to anyone. Guarantee you one thing, you won't be seeing people putting live streams out like this in the Medicare world. You ain't going to see it anywhere else. Nicole Peggy said hi to you. And she just realized it. That's awesome. Thank you, Peggy. Bill, I saw this message come in also. The same message came to our email address in here today to ask as a question on here. I recently got a colonoscopy. I need one every 4 years. Medicare pay for it. So yeah, they're going to pay for it. And with the question that came in today specifically, and I saved it into a document that I could bring it up in here. The question was, I recently got a colonoscopy. They found 8 non-cancerous polyps. The doctor said that since I have so many, I should have another one within the 4 years. Medicare covers colonoscopy every 120 months. Will Medicare cover the next one within the 4 years? I would like to know before they do the procedure. Yes, your doctor, if they say that it's necessary based on family history or your particular history, it's going to be covered by Medicare. Your doctor knows the proper billing to make that happen. So you can work with your doctor, their billing specialist, their billing people in the office, just to make sure that it's covered in Medicare because of the prior diagnosis and the thing that they're watching with your individual case. Medicare is sometimes a one-fits-all situation. However, when your particular family history and your own health history makes you predisposed to certain types of ailments, then your regular treatment or regular checkups for those kind of things are sped up based on what your doctor thinks you need. That's the beauty of original Medicare. It's your doctor that's in control, not some arbitrary guideline set by a health plan based on trying to save the most money. So that's kind of neat there. That's a really good question. So if you have any other questions, put them on here. And it's 5 o'clock right now. I'm going to take just a couple more questions in here, but I really want to get some more coming through. If you're on the Facebook live stream, and on Facebook, if you're not following what we're doing, we're putting out live things on Facebook all the time of updates happening with Medicare, proposed things, rate increase notices from insurance companies that affect a lot of people around the country. Go to Facebook and look up Senior Savings Network on Facebook and make sure that you follow that page. You follow it nowadays by clicking the like button. I promise you there won't be any spam in there. It's just updates on what's happening with Medicare and what we're doing to help people. So this question says, let me see if I can share this one. Share this screen and the questions, shall we? And it is, there it is. It is my understanding that there is no limit on out-of-pocket cost. If you're uncovered, you could end up at $100,000, you owe $100,000. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? That's why I selected an Advantage plan. That's the old sales pitch for you. So yeah, no one would ever in their right mind say, just go on to original Medicare and stay there with nothing else to back you up. I should be able to switch places with this video, but that's not working. If you just go on the original Medicare and that's all you're going to be going with, then yeah, a Medicare Advantage plan would be better than that. But that's not the only option. So the better option would be if you had a Medicare Supplement plan, you can still continue to go anywhere you want to and not have to worry about the 20% and not have to worry about network limitations and restrictions and prior authorizations and limitations on care, especially when it comes to major things like cancer and chemo and all those kind of things. So yeah, if you're on original Medicare and your agent was dumb enough to not sell you anything else that was going to help protect you, or you didn't listen to the advice of somebody that does Medicare full-time professionally as a living, then yes, if your bill is $100,000, Medicare is going to reprice that, certainly, and you would be responsible for whatever is left over. On original Medicare, without Medigap, without a Medicare Supplement, without a Medicare Advantage plan, you can still go anywhere you want to, but there is no cap on what you're going to pay. If someone goes back to an Advantage plan after going back to original Medicare, do they ask health questions or do they ask health questions coming from MAPD and MedSup? Medicare Advantage will take anybody. There are no health questions ever to go into a Medicare Advantage plan. Used to be ESRD, now they have to take them. End-stage renal disease. But there are no health guidelines whatsoever. So let me ask you this question. This is a common sense question. If you have one option that you have to qualify asking health questions to see if you'll get on that plan and pay a premium for it, you have another plan that's free and will take absolutely anybody, kind of like Medicaid, right? Free, take anybody. won't take everybody. You can get it during open enrollment. Cost a premium. Which one do you think is going to deliver to you the better value if it hits the fan? If life and death healthcare decisions are at stake? I know based on experience. I'm just asking the logical question. Which one do you think provides the better value? One that is restrictive in who can get it later and cost a premium. One that is no cost to you whatsoever, has restrictions, and will let anybody in. That's just a question I'll just leave out there as a hypothetical. Is Medicare Supplement the same as Medigap? Yes, indeed it is. They are synonymous. They are one and the same. It's my first month of Medicare. I chose Plan G. Is it too late to go to a Plan N without medical underwriting? Or am I still in my guaranteed issue period because I just turned 65? There are so many different terms in insurance. I don't want to confuse going back and forth with which one is what, but I will tell you there is a little difference between guarantee issue and open enrollment. In your case, you're still in your open enrollment, your initial coverage election period. On Medicare Supplement, it's 6 months. Technically, you can sign up for a Medicare Supplement plan before it starts, up to 6 months before your Part B starts. And why would you want to do that? I'll tell you why. You can lock in today's rate for 18 months. How does that work? Let's say my birthday is December of 2021. As of June 2021, I can lock in today's rate and not pay every month premium, just lock in today's rate for my plan that starts in December. But guess what? I locked in the rate from December to December of 2022. It's a 12-month rate guarantee. So if I sign up in June, I'm not obligated. I don't have to keep anything, but I've held my place and I've locked in my rate all the way back in June. So from June to December, from December to December, I keep the June 18-month earlier rate. That's why it's advantageous to sign up for Medicare Supplement when you're first eligible, which is 6 months before your Part B starts. And you might ask the question, many agents ask me this question all the time. How do you sign someone up for a Medicare Supplement if you don't even know their Medicare number? We have ways of doing that. You can do that. And again, it's in the best interest of the client to sign up when they're first eligible, which is 6 months before the Part B start date. A couple states are different. Virginia, for instance, or West Virginia is a little different. Connecticut, New York, a couple of states are different. They don't let you do 6 months before. Most states do, however. Your question is, you're on the first month of Plan G. I'm assuming maybe you signed up on Plan G when you were first eligible for Medicare. That gives you 5 more months, on the AD side of your Part B start date that you can still change to any plan. Here's what some people do. Let me share some insight with you. This is a secret. Please don't share this with anybody else. This is a secret. People in New York, okay, this is just between me and you. Please don't share this with anybody. I should make myself really tiny. People in New York can sign up for a Plan G when they're first eligible for Medicare and get all their stuff done. Now, assuming they've had prior coverage, so there's no worries about pre-existing condition. Let's say they came off an employer plan or an individual plan. You sign up for Medicare when you're first eligible, you get Plan G, you get all your stuff done. Knee replacement, hip replacement, surgeries, all your tests, everything done, right? Then, because you live in a state like New York, where you can change plans anytime you want to, then you can go to a Plan N. You can go to a high deductible Plan G, knowing that all the expensive stuff that you had to get done, you got done on Plan G when you first got eligible. Similarly, I spoke with a doctor friend who's a client. He did the same thing and he lived in Florida. He knows that for the first 6 months on his Part B, he can go on Plan G. No co-payments, no excess charges, no restrictions, no limitations. Get everything done that he wants to get done and then make a decision. Do I still want to stay on this very comprehensive but slightly more expensive plan? Or do I want to go to a plan that's more economical for me, especially in Florida, a Plan N or a high deductible Plan G, knowing that all the things that he'd been putting off, he'd been waiting for Medicare that he had paid for all his life by putting in the premiums on his Part A, and he got all that stuff done. So you really have two decisions there. Now, here's a small caveat to that. You can't do that with your drug plan. You can't do that with your Medicare Advantage plan. You can only do that with your Medicare Supplement. Why is that? During your initial coverage election period, that's brand new to Medicare, you get one shot at a drug plan. You get one shot at a Medicare Advantage plan. Beyond that, you have to wait till your annual enrollment period every year, every calendar year, to switch and go to a different plan. So you can't be brand new to Medicare, pick a drug plan, go get all your drugs filled, and then say, you know, I want a cheaper drug plan. Sorry, you get one selection for that. However, on your Medicare Supplement plan, as long as you're still in your open enrollment period, that's a 6-month window for Medicare Supplement only. Yes, you can switch plans. And a lot of people do just what you're talking about. They'll go get the Plan G with no co-payments and all that, get a whole bunch of stuff done or whatever, and then make the decision, you know what, Plan N is really in my best interest. If you want to do that, make your switch, reach out to us, we can help you. Very simple process because it's open enrollment. It's a 5-minute conversation. We just find the best company for you, the best rate, do the enrollment. It's minutes, and there's no paperwork involved either. So we've had such a great turnout today. Oh, Patty, you said you can lock in my rate. Yep, we sure can. We sure can. There's a company in California that won't let us do it without your Medicare number, but we know what those companies are. So that depends. We got you covered. When can I switch from a Medicare Advantage plan to regular Medicare? You can do it 2 times, actually 3 if you're brand new to Medicare. 1 time is every year during the annual enrollment period. The second time is that's October 15th through December 7th. That's making your selection for January 1 of the next year based on the new information that comes out around September of every year. What's it going to be for the next year? The second opportunity is when that new year starts and everybody realizes what they have. So we really have a blackout period from December 8th, the day after my birthday, Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, a day which will live in infamy. That's the end of the cutoff period, is December 7th. December 8th to December 31 is a blackout period. Can't do any movement. Everybody hold your place for Christmas, right? Then January 1 to March 31, which we're in right now, then you can decide to either go back to original Medicare or switch to a different Medicare Advantage plan. You can't get a Medicare Advantage plan if you didn't have one. You can get a different drug plan only if you're going from Medicare Advantage to a drug plan. I mean, Medicare Advantage, getting rid of it, going to original Medicare, dropping down, and then getting a drug plan with it. But as I said in the beginning of this video, and you can watch the replay, that's what we first started off talking about, the time is really, really limited because March 31st is the time that ends that period. And if you wanted to go get a Medigap plan or Medicare Supplement plan, you have to get approval for that before you pull that ejection seat. That's what I call it, getting out of the Advantage plan. You don't want to do it absent preparation, because otherwise you could end up with no coverage whatsoever. We would never want that to happen. So thanks for that question, Sandy. And then over here, run through these. I'm currently on Plan F. Other than the cost, is there a reason why I shouldn't be on Plan F? No, cost is pretty much enough for our clients. Yeah, we have clients that have gotten up to $400, $450 a month in premium. That's enough of an impetus for them to decide, maybe I should get off this plan while my health will still allow me to get off that plan. And let's see. What's the earliest I can sign up for Med Sup? I'm turning 65 in 2021. 6 months before your birthday. 6 months before your birthday, you can lock that in most states and most companies. And the last one I'll take today is, when should us veterans over 65 consider a Medicare coverage when we have coverage with the VA? That is a wonderful question. My father-in-law is a veteran, and he's got his plan with us. Turn off the sound. Show the end screen as we started with Nicole's wall there in the office. When you're a veteran, you have a lot of choices. Sometimes the VA is enough for you, but you may want the availability of treatments that are not in the VA, also drugs that are not covered by the VA, also emergency coverage that could take you to any other different hospital, and the priority treatment that you would get with a health plan of your own. So many people that have VA will get a Medicare Advantage plan as a minimum, as a backstop, and then you've got the choice. You can do either one. Other people still will get a Medicare Supplement, so they have the ultimate freedom to go anywhere that they want to. They can go to the VA if they want, or they can go outside and go anywhere else they want. Again, it all comes down to you, your priorities, your health. How often are you having to go? Are you having to wait in a long line? And I know the VA, under the last administration, opened up a lot more facilities for people, and I think that's awesome. But you should have something else as a backstop. Even if it's just a Medicare Advantage plan, you should have another option for comprehensive care that's not just limited to within the VA. So that's it. I hope this has been of value to somebody out there. Thank you so much for having watched. We'll be here again to do this live stream again with a lot more preparation, especially as things change with Medicare, which they're changing all the time. A couple of proposals, if you haven't seen it in Congress or watching them like an eagle, to see what's going to develop with those things. Hopefully not too much. We don't want to mess up Medicare and take away what's of value to the people who've earned it their entire lives. I don't want that to happen. I don't know of anybody that does, but make sure that you stay tuned if you can, because we want to make sure that you have the best information when it comes to making up your mind on Medicare plans. If you've already selected a plan, great, wonderful. I hope that plan is the best for you. If you want a second opinion, that's what we're here for. So we can always give you a second opinion and help shop the market when things change. If you get a rate increase, that's what you should do. You should give us a call or go to our website and give us a chance at being your agent so we can help you. Thanks so much for watching today, y'all. Have a wonderful day. If we can be of service to you, our website is seniorssavingsnetwork.org, seniorssavingsnetwork.org. Or if you go to Google and you type in seniorssavingsnetwork.org or Christopher Westphal Medicare, you'll find me there, and just reach out. We've got a great team of people here. They're right here in the office, right behind me, outside that door. And they're all about to wrap it up and go home for the end of the day. But it's a pleasure serving y'all. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll be here when anything changes regarding Medicare. Take care. Bye-bye.